Hi, my name is Robert. This video is designed to give you step-by-step detailed instructions on completing the task at hand. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. In this video, I'm going to show you how I replaced the rear ABS sensor on a 1999 Volvo V70R. This should be the same for all of the P80 all-wheel drive vehicles, 850s, V70, V70 cross countries, and V70R vehicles. Now, this is easier on the all-wheel drive vehicles than it actually is on the front-wheel drive vehicles. I couldn't imagine something being easier on the all-wheel drive vehicles. However, this is. Now, if you can afford it, go ahead and purchase brand new sensors. The new aftermarket sensors are about $80, cheaper on the front wheel drive vehicles, about $50. The OEM sensors are, of course, more expensive, but I don't see why the aftermarkets are any different. If you get the ATE, that's who probably made the sensors for Volvo in the first place. So what I did here was got a sensor from the salvage yard because I didn't know how inexpensive the sensors were. It was an exploration mission for me. And now that I know what I know, I would just get brand new sensors and replace them. If you get used sensors, you'll probably spend $20 for used sensors out of the salvage yard. So the rear suspension, both sensors come as a part. You get the left and right sensor, the wire harness, and the plug. If you go to the salvage yard like I did, you can cut the wires and get the left sensor or the right sensor and take your chance on using used parts. Again, better to get new parts. So in this example, I went to the salvage yard, got a used sensor. I recommend you just get a new sensor kit, both sensors with wire harness, and do it that way. It'll be quicker, easier, and probably better chance of having your problem fixed than going in with some used part that may not be working. So here you go. Thanks for watching. I'm here with this V70R. I'm about to replace the rear suspension ABS sensor wire harness. The wiring goes from the sensor, which of course screws into the wheel hub, and goes up around back behind where the fuel filter is, and then up through the floor where the access panel is for the wiring, and on the P80 cars the fuel pump access panel, and then there's a group of wire harness connections there. So we're going to replace this right side sensor from the wheel up to that plug so that it can be proper and no hack splices going down there. There's really room to do this without pulling the wheels, but if you want to pull the wheels, that's up to you. You can take the wheel lug nuts loose, jack the car up, put jack stands under it, remove the wheels, and then access the sensor and stuff that way. Or you could do like I did, just back the car up on ramps. Now I put a wheel stop up there because this car didn't have a parking brake. I put 2 wheel stops on this side. And next thing I'm going to do is go inside and remove the flooring. So the next thing I recommend you do is get everything out of the back of the car and remove the flooring, which is easy to do. I'll show you in a minute. To remove this rear floor panel, you lift this up. If it's not locked, you can actually lock these with the ignition key. Lift them off each side. Then you pull these up on each side. Move them out of the way. I don't know if this is going to go very far. Alright, I'm going to leave that like that because I need to access screws in the bottom here. Now I can lift this up, and you got 4 10 millimeters, 2 there, 2 there, and that will allow you to open up this access panel where all these wires come through, and then you need to find the plug connector, which is probably right under the floor there, where all of these sensors and stuff plug into. Actually, I thought it was more toward the middle here. So let me go ahead and pull those forward 10 millimeters. Then this floor will slide back toward the back of the car and lift out. Once those 4 bolts are removed, 2 on each side, you take this and you slide it back just a little bit, and it'll uncatch from the catches on the front side of it. Again, this one is tied in here somehow with all this wiring, so I need to maneuver this in a way that doesn't damage this stereo wiring. I removed these 5 screws from this floor panel. So this is where all of this wiring and stuff comes up through here. This yellow plug is for the ABS sensors, right and left. I'm going to take the right one loose from down there and fish it up through here a little bit so I can get a grip on the right wire, and then pull that one up through while I pull the plug and stuff up for the replacement sensor. And then I'm going to splice the connector into the 2 wires and have it still connected with a connector, and leave these other 2 to the other sensor alone. One's right, one's left. I don't know if it tells us here which one's right, which one's left. I don't see that it does, but I'll figure it out here in a minute and get these things where I have them separated. I got one separated already. Figure out which one is that, and if this is the right one, I don't have to mess with the left one. So let me go into the car and see what's going on. Under the vehicle, this is similar to the 850s front wheel drive cars. They have the 2 ABS sensors come off the hubs. I don't know if they bolt right there like that one does. And then they run along here and they go up around the fuel tank and through that panel where you access the fuel tank on the front wheel drive cars. And here's a wire harness that's going over to it. It's got this protective sleeve on this trailing arm, holding it against that trailing arm. So you need to push this off of here. 2 hands will do it. And then the other one is on the other side. Now on the front wheel drive cars, 850s, something happens to these sensor wires back here. They just get old or whatever, they break. And then you get ABS error codes. My 95 has a error code right now, ABS and tracks, that comes on intermittently. When I read the codes, it talks about the rear suspension. We'll cover that when I do that rear end on that car. But you simply take the sensor loose here, take this sleeve loose, take the clip loose from right here where it clips onto the rear suspension. You know, it's protecting the wire, it's got the sleeve, and then you push it up past this fuel filter and hook it up into that harness. Now, of course, as you see here, this would probably be a real good time to replace this fuel filter. Since I have one of these fuel filters handy, I'm going to spray that thing down with PB Blaster and replace this fuel filter while I'm up here. That'll also get it out of the way. Be a good time to replace a fuel filter. And I happen to have a filter with me. I purchased this off somebody that probably didn't need it at the time because I knew I would use it sooner than later. So here it is. Let me try to get that 8mm screw out of there and move that bracket out of the way, take that filter out, put the new one in. I'm gonna go ahead and take this wire stuff off of here first, just in case that thing decides to start purging fuel. I could get the new one on without losing too much fuel. Don't want to lose a lot of fuel back here. Pried this plastic off the bar and the wire loom is in there. There's a clip on the back of here. I'm gonna pry that loose. So I got that loose. Now I can feed this up here a little bit to see which wire is which, so I can get the right wire. So let me go up there, and I can actually put a little piece of blue tape on this, so when I pull it up there, I'll see which one it is. And it has a piece of yellow on there. Not sure what is hanging up on down here. Oh, it's going over and under the side of this filter. Alright, that's the way it's going to go to make sure we protect it. So let me go up here and see which one is that. So one of these is loose, one of these is tight. That seems tight. You try this other one. See if this other one seems loose. That seems tight. Okay, they're both in a clip here. So let me, dirty. Let me undo this zip tie. You put a screwdriver in there and open that up. Then I'll separate them. And it looks like this one. The other one is the one that's for this right wheel. Oh, look. I got a crack in this J-hose here. That needs to be replaced. Because of how sensitive these sensors are, I think I'm going to feel more comfortable splicing the harness than I am the sensor wire. So I'm going to go down, bolt this sensor in here, feed this harness up through there, and I'm going to splice this green white and green black wire to the harness and have this sensor harness whole. And this sure does have R on it for right, so I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this in the hub, put this in the sleeve, clip that on the back of that suspension, run this up through the hole, tape them together, put them in that zip tie, and then wire this plug to that harness. I'm gonna have two plugs, but I'd rather do that than cut the wire on this because I don't have the tool to release these pins in here. I wish I had that tool. I would just unpin it and go from there, but I don't. Well, I messed with a tip of one of these wires. I figured out how to get it out. If you look down in there, you can see it has a raised tab on there. If you can stick something down in there, like an accessory screwdriver, push down on that tab, the wire pulls out. So I'm going to try to pull these out without damaging them. I got the black on one side. Let me tell you what side this is so we don't get them mixed up. On my sensor, the black goes to the green and the black wire. The brown goes to the green with the white wire. So that's how I'm going to verify that they are on that connector and pull those out and plug these in after I fish it through. So you open up the back of the connector. It has a little clip on it so you can pull the wires out, and you release the tab down on this side. They are on this side of the wire spade that goes through the connector. I got them out. Of course, you don't have to do that. You could just splice the wires on the other side of the connector, have two connectors. I'm just being extra. Well, you really have to pay attention to which way these wires are in, because these were in upside down the other way. So it don't matter. They could be in up that way or down that way. So look at the back of the wire. If the back of it looks like this, the tab is on the other side. If the back of the wire looks like this, that's the side the tab is on. The tab is on the side where the crimp is on, not on the other side. So pay attention to how it goes through there. Let me get down here, bolt that in, run those wires up there, and get this over with. A couple days ago, I put this knuckle on there. I put the screw in there, so the screw's there. Let me pull the screw out, put the sensor through the hole, and put the screw back up. Got the sensor in there, the screw in there. The screw's just really snug down. It don't have to be super tight. Now let me run this through that sleeve like it was. Tape this, pull this up through there with this on the end so that I know it comes through. Let me put tape on there and pull that through. I got the sensor in there. I snapped the wire in the sleeve. Now I'm gonna snap the sleeve back on here, and then I'm gonna run the wire up along there and put that clip back on the back of the suspension. I got it pulled up here. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in, the brown one on this side, the black one on this side, and I should be good to go. Tape them back together with the yellow tape, put that zip tie back on them that I took loose, and plug that thing in over there. To my surprise, I had to pull my locking tab back up a little bit so it would lock in when I push them through the holes. and I pushed the back of them through with needle nose pliers. And there they are, back in place. Close that back down. Let me secure these and plug them in. Tuck all those wires in that plastic holder for those harnesses. Wrap the wires in that rubber grommet. Put this access panel back on. Snug those bolts down, they don't need to be too tight. And then put this floor back in and you're all done. Now, if you're replacing both harnesses on both sides, you just do the same thing for the other side. But if you buy these ABS sensors, they'll probably come two together, and you just run the wires the way they need to be run, bring them up through there, plug them in. You don't have to deal with the plug like I did. I just got one from the salvage yard and replaced that one. So I'm all done recording purposes. Let me clean this up, replace this fuel filter. There it is, the sensor's done, and I even got the fuel filter done. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.